Good morning students, welcome to today's biology class. Student, if you remember, we are studying the chapter Kingdom Plantae, and today we are going into the topic the division Gymnosperm. Okay, so before starting with the class, let us recapitulate what we have learned in the last few classes. In the last few classes, we have studied the first division, that is the algae. We have studied about the different characteristics of algae, various examples, the reproduction means in them. Then similarly, we have also studied about the division Bryophyta, various plants included under them like mosses, and the liverworts, the various characteristics, both vegetative as well as reproduction. Then in yesterday's class, we have studied about the characteristics of Pteridophyta, both general as well as reproduction, and the stages of the life cycle of these plants, right? So today we are going to learn about gymnosperms, and today what are going to be our learning outcomes. Let us see. After this class, you will be able to explain the vegetative and the reproductive characters of gymnosperms, and you will be able to cite various examples of gymnosperms. Okay, so let us get started with the class. So you know this pine tree, okay, have you seen that? Pinus, scientific name. Then the cedar tree, the cedrus, which is commonly called as a deodar tree. Then a cycas, okay, this is present in fact in front of our school building also. This kind of plants, you know, these plants are present, or they are found growing in a bit lower temperature, much colder areas. Okay, so all these kind of plants are included in the division Gymnosperm. So what are basically gymnosperms? Gymnosperms are a group of plants where the ovules are not placed inside the ovary, and that's why the ovules are what? Ovules are naked. These are non-flowering plants and which bears the naked seed, because see, the flowers are not there. If flower is not there, will there be ovaries? No, ovaries are also not there, but ovules are there. Ovules are empty, ovules are free, ovules are naked. Now when the ovules turns into seed, seed are also born what? Naked. So in front of you there is a picture of a gymnosperm which is bearing a naked seed. This is a common ornamental plant which is found in many of our house, is it not? So it is also bearing one naked seed. So let us now start with the vegetative characteristics. Okay? In vegetative characteristic, we are going to study about the root, stem and leaves. Now this gymnosperms, they have basically the tap roots or the tap root system. Now in some plants, okay, these tap roots, they are quite modified. Like in pine trees, the tap roots, they form a symbiotic association with fungi, and it's called as what? Mycorrhiza. Remember, we learned this thing in chapter 1 when we studied about lichens. I also showed you about mycorrhiza, although it was not there in that chapter. And what is mycorrhiza? Mycorrhiza is symbiotic association between fungi and roots of higher plants. So one of the higher plant is a pinus. Another kind of modification in taproot is the coralloid roots. The roots of cycas, there in them some nitrogen fixing bacteria, they form colony, they colonize, and the shape of the roots becomes like corals, okay, and that's why they are called as coralloid roots. Now come to the stem. See, the stems are also varied in the gymnosperm. Some gymnosperm like cycas has got unbranched straight stem, wherever in the plants like pinus and cedrus, they have got branched, they have got a branched stem. What about the leaves? Even leaves shows high diversity. In plants like cycas, the leaves are compound. Okay, one big leaf with many leaflets, compound leaf. Whereas in plants like ginkgo, the leaves are quite simple. Now ginkgo is allowed for you all. Ginkgo is called as a living fossil, a plant living fossil, because this plant has not evolved from thousands of years. It's fossils, and the plant today found is like, it looks similar. This plant is present basically, it's found basically in Japan, not in most other countries. Okay, Another type of leaf is the needle-shaped leaf in pinus, in the pine trees. The leaves, you see the leaves have taken the shape of pine, and in front of you, the right hand side, there is a transverse section of a pine needle leaf, and you can see that this needles, you know, the needle there, epidermis is, you see the epidermis is quite thick, okay, and the stomatas, you see the stomatas are deep rooted, deep seated. So these two are adaptations mean for dry environmental conditions to check transpirations. I hope you got the point. Now we completed the vegetative structures, we studied about the roots, stems and leaves. Now come to the reproductive structures, okay. Now the reproductive organ in case of gymnosperm is not flower. I told you already, flowers are absent, but in place of flower, what they have certain cones, or they are also called as strobili in plural form or strobilus in singular form. Now these cones or strobili are male and female cones. This male and female cone may be present in the same plant in case of pinus, for example, or may be found in different plants. One plant is a male plant bearing male cone, and another plant is a female plant bearing female cone. Okay. Now inside the cone, what is there? Now if we cut the cone longitudinally, we'll get the look like this. Now inside the cone, what is there? You know, there is a central axis, okay, just like you can compare it with the pineapples. There's a central axis, and towards side of the central axis there are what? There are spirally arranged some leaf-like structures. Some sporophylls are there. I told you in the last class also, in case of pteridophytes, leaves are called as sporophylls because the leaves, they bear spores, is it not? So similarly here also there are sporophylls. The sporophylls of the male cone are called as microsporophyll, okay, and the microsporophyll is hiding inside the microsporangium. Microsporangium is a structure that contains the microspores, okay. You have to understand this. There are certain microspores, and microspores are inside a structure which is called as a microsporangium, and microsporangium are placed in between the microsporophyll, okay. And this microspores, you know, this microspores will later divide to form the pollen grains. You know, pollen grain carries the male gametes. That's why these cones are called as a reproductive structure. Now come to this megasporangium towards your right hand side. You know, megasporangium is a female reproductive part. In a female cone also there is a central axis, and in the central axis there are certain leaf-like structures which are called as not microsporophyll but what? Megasporophyll. And at the base of the megasporophyll there are megasporangium. Okay, I can show you the structure of the megasporangium. These are megasporangium. These circle structures are what? The megasporangium. Okay. So this megasporangium, which is, if it is underdeveloped, we call it nucellus. It is surrounded by several layers of cells, and this nucellus, it produces, you know, one haploid megaspore mother cell. This haploid megaspore mother cell is a large size cell compared to the other nucellus cells. And this megaspore mother cell is going to undergo meiosis, okay, and it is going to form 4 megaspores. Now among these 4 megaspores, 3 will die and the plant will lose it, but one of the megaspore remains and it develops into the male gametophyte. Now in the picture you can see that orange region is the male gametophyte, okay. This male gametophyte later bears 2 or 3 archegonium, okay, inside the ovules. That means the male gametophyte is going to develop into the ovules, and ovule bears what? Ovule contains archegonium. After archegonium is developed fully, fertilization happens. Now for fertilization, the pollen grains, you remember the pollen grains from the male cone or what? Microsporangium. It comes and it is carried by the wind to the megasporangium. Now the pollen grains have got male gametes, and this male gametes enters into the ovule and it fertilizes the archegonium and forms the zygote. So after fertilization, what happens is that the ovule which was inside, it develops into the seed, and the zygote which was formed after fertilization of the archegonium and the male gamete forms the zygote. Later zygote develops into embryo, similar to the angiosperm. This you already know. The zygote develops into embryo and ovule develops into what? The seed. But there is no ovary to form fruit, so that you cannot write in this case. Now you can, in the image you can see how how a person is holding the leaves at the base of the megasporangia. Okay, so what we have learned in today's class, let us recapitulate. In today's class we have learned that gymnosperms are subplants which do not bear flowers, so they do not bear ovary, and they have got naked ovules, and after fertilization this naked ovules form naked seeds. Okay, you also learned the vegetative characteristics of gymnosperms, where the roots are taproots, the leaves are simple compound needle shape, roots are modified to mycorrhiza or coralloid. Then you also studied that their reproductive structures are the strobili, the male and the female strobili or cones, and they contain mega and microsporangium. Microsporangium contains the pollen grains and megasporangium contains the ovules which have the archegonium. The pollen grains carries the male gametes to the archegonium. Archegonium is fertilized and the zygote is formed. Later on, this zygote develops into embryo and the ovule turns into naked seed. So I hope you have understood today's class. For any kind of doubt, please ask me. Okay, thank you for attending the class.